Welcome to the 20 Podcast, bringing you interviews with the best DJs, producers, and music industry professionals from around the globe. I'm your host, DJ Spider. DJ Spider! That's right. This podcast is brought to you by Beatsource. We are here in the Beatsource office right now, and it feels good to be home, baby. Beatsource is the new digital music service for open format DJs. I mean, we have got the most amazing curated playlists. Our curators are incredible, and they are so on top of it for whatever genre or vibe or thing that you need done. So get on there. You're able to use Beatsource Link, DJ from the cloud, so much more. This is the future of DJing. If you want to try it out for free, use our code, the20, THE20. The 20 will give you 60 days free on Beatsource Link. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Hit me on Instagram. I'm easily accessible at DJSPIDER. That spells DJ Spider if you are slow or something. So check it out. Hit me on there. Let me know who you want to hear on the show. Any feedback. All of your guys' support is so great. Thank you. I saw we were on so many people's top lists of the podcasts they listen to on the Spotify wrap-ups. We are available on all platforms. So you want to watch on YouTube, you want to listen on Apple, Spotify, whatever you do, we appreciate it. Make sure on Apple you rate and review and give us some good stuff. And I see you guys in the YouTube comments. I like the conversation, can get a little spicy on there. People have their opinions, but we appreciate you either way. Thank you. So yes, my beat sorcerers, thank you for sticking with us. I've got a great guest. We're ending out the year with some amazing guests, and today is no different. We've got someone that I'm sure you've seen online or in person doing some sort of insane trick mixes on 3 or 4 CDJs at once and going, what the hell is this guy doing? And how's he doing it? This is unbelievable. Well, I got him on the show today to explain how he does it, and we got some special secrets and things from him. He's well known in the dance music scene, but he has a background in open format, which is something that can be seen through his creative mixing ideas and through his DJing as a whole, whether you see him live or online, and the way he can read a crowd, and he's just so comfortable up there. We learned so much on this episode about his mixing techniques, things that he's learned through his experience as a DJ and producer, some revelations he had during lockdown, his course that's now available to learn from. We hear stories of mistakes and stories of redemption, being able to learn from these things. And he gives us advice on work ethic as well as finding your style and so much more. I incorporate your guys' questions too, so thank you for always being part of that. I was super happy we were finally able to make this happen, and in person at that, here at the studio. So please welcome all the way from the UK, James Hype. All right, we are here. Welcome. It's the 20 Podcast. We got James Hype in the flesh. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Okay?
In the flesh.
In the flesh. We've all watched him many times, millions of times on his videos, from TikTok to YouTube to Instagram to everywhere, right? And now he's here with us in the studio. Give it up, James Hype. That's right. The crowd's going crazy. The streets cheering. What up, man? Welcome.
Yeah, man.
How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's good to be here, bro. It's good to be in the sunshine.
Yes, I know. Yeah, thankfully you get some sunshine. I thought about you yesterday because it was one of the rainiest, coldest days. And I'm like, this is like his hometown probably. And I want him to come to LA and feel the sun and how warm it's been.
Exactly.
So at least now we're getting into it. Well, yeah, we're here. We're at Beatsource headquarters, Beverly Hills. And you've been here in the U.S. and on the West Coast doing shows for how long? Past couple weeks?
Yeah, man. I've been in the US like 3 weeks, I would say now.
Okay. Nice.
Done some crazy shows. Honestly, I feel like I've been here for 3 months. I've done a lot of traveling, a lot of shows.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out in LA for a few days, which is nice.
That's great. And I'm sure it's been just like a shock to the system going straight from lockdown to like sold out shows in the US.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Yeah, I did a few shows in the UK, like in the couple of weeks before I got here.
Yeah,
It was all it's been a dramatic time getting here as well. You know, like
I'm sure that's what I've heard from a lot of people overseas. It's hard to even secure.
It's hard to get the visa.
The
visa took months longer than we thought it would.
Wow.
Which meant that my first tour got cancelled.
Oh my God.
And then managed to get the visa. Came then like 2 months later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't work for the whole of September.
Damn.
Because I was supposed to be in the US.
Right.
But my visa didn't come through until the start of October.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I just ended up just chilling for the whole of September, you know? So that was kind of mad.
Well, at least you got to like get some rest in before it got insanely crazy, and you got this this whole tour. Where have you been over the past 3 weeks?
Okay, so I landed in Washington.
Okay. In DC on the East Coast.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all been East Coast. This is the first bit I've touched the West Coast for.
Nice.
And honestly, man, I can't remember where I went after Washington.
That means it was good.
I've just been up and down the East Coast, and then I think the only other place I've been is New Orleans. Oh,
cool. Okay, that's still pretty East Coast. It's South.
You still count that as East? Yeah.
I mean, it's the East. It's the South. You know, it's definitely different people and different vibe. You know, New Orleans than New York or DC or Philly or any of that. Yeah. Were you in New York at all?
No, I'm going there this weekend.
Oh, you are?
Bro, I'm going there straight after LA.
Oh, okay.
So I'm playing in LA. I'm gonna finish my set, go straight to the airport, go to New York, and it's gonna be killer.
I agree. New York's the best. So what are your shows here on the West Coast?
So all I'm doing right now, I'm doing Exchange LA on Friday night. Yeah.
Okay.
Friday 17th.
That's great.
And then I'm playing Time Orange County on New Year's Eve as well.
Yes, that's going to be incredible. Dope. That's so cool to hear. And I had people asking if you had ever played in Vegas, and I asked you earlier, you said no, which was kind of shocking to me. Nope. But yeah, Mike Attack and some other people are writing me online, like, if he's, does he have any shows in Vegas lined up? So the answer is no as of now.
The answer is no right now. But
eventually, though.
I can't wait to play Vegas, man. Like, I feel like it's kind of what I've been building for, you know. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, seeing your videos, and I think you'll be really well received out there. You just have to find the right place, I think,
for real,
to play, because, I think you would absolutely smash it, and you just have a good time. I mean, you have so much energy. Like, I feel like that's what comes through in a lot of your videos.
Yeah.
Is you can actually tell your love for DJing. It's not just like some, like, watch this. A lot of those videos you see are just so calculated. Like, you can tell your love for it. Also, your energy is, like, infectious in a way where you get hyped on, like, oh, that was crazy. Like, what's going on? And I also wonder, like, how you get so much energy. But if you're, like, eating Adderall on top of your cereal or something. But.
Honestly, bro, like, there's some shows, where I'll wake up and go straight to the club. You know, like when I'm traveling or something, and I can just switch it on,
I know.
Like, it's like just kind of I don't know, it's just like, it's almost like, sometimes if I'm really tired, I'll get to the club and I'll be like, oh, I feel awful. Get on stage, and then I have to like ramp myself up. Like I'll push myself to be energetic, but then within like 2 minutes, the energy's natural,
Yeah.
I'm not forcing it anymore.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that happened to me last night. I remember I was there. I was like yawning. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? I start DJing, and just the music. You start hearing the music. You do one transition to another one, or a scratch, or some kind of thing, and you're like, oh, I'm back. Here we go. It's like coffee, like natural. It just wakes you up. That's true. Yeah, music. I mean, that's the thing. If you love DJing and you love music, it comes naturally, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I think we have some connections through DJ City and Beatsource. You're good friends with Play.
Yeah, man.
From
we go way back, Like
okay.
I've known Play for maybe 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Like I've been to watch him DJ in the UK, and we've connected for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I always used to send like matchups and edits and stuff to DJ City UK back in the day, and Play was like, after a few of those, Play kind of hit me up, and he wanted to like get to know me a little bit more, So yeah, he's a great guy, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's like so helpful to the DJ community and just so supportive. And he's always, down for new ideas. Like I was like, yo, you should check out Discord. And he's like, boom, we got a Discord. And like he's always just like on top of it and wants to connect everyone. And I feel like he's another person that loves DJing and does stuff for the right reasons and just wants to like see it grow, you know? And so speaking of like your journey, like as a DJ, I know that you posting online seems like a big, I mean, obviously we'll get into your history and I'm sure you've like grinded your life away with doing so many gigs and built it up to this. And, but from the social media aspect, you're super active and like you kill it on there with all the different platforms and everything. There was one video I was watching recently where you did this crazy transition. I think like I was trying to figure out what you did. I think it was the Pump It Up one. And you went from like, I think it was 128 or 130 to like 175. And I was wondering if you could explain that. I was also wondering, like, if I was right. Like, you did some. Actually, our last guest, I think, told me about this weird trick about looping it and then switching it to like 3/4, and then that made it go up tempo. Is that like something?
I've seen that, and I'm aware of that.
I was wondering if that
wasn't what I was doing.
Oh, okay. No. He was telling me that if you're at it's some mathematical thing, right?
Oh, bro, it's crazy.
And you switch the looping, or you switch. I gotta practice it, but to 3/4, it switches it to 170 something, and then you're at drum and bass or hip hop kind of tempo.
It's a bit trippy to listen to though, like because your brain doesn't understand what's going on at first.
Right, people are gonna stop dancing probably and look at you like you better do something good. And if they don't like drum and bass, they'll be very disappointed.
You've got to drop into something big if you're doing a transition like that.
Right.
I think the first clip I saw of anyone doing that was James Abelia.
Oh, okay.
And because on the CDJ 3000, you've got a 3/4 beat loop.
Right.
And they've never had that on a CDJ before.
Yeah, true.
So it was always one beat, half a beat, quarter of a beat.
Right.
But with the 3/4 beat, you can switch from a 1 beat loop to a 3/4 beat loop, and all of a sudden you've changed the BPM of your track almost. But no, that wasn't what that video we're talking about was.
Were you just going up with
that was
tempo?
That was on a CDJ 2000.
Oh, okay.
So let me think what I did. It's using the trans effect on a mixer.
Oh.
So I will take the word, let's forget. There were 3 decks involved, but let's forget the third one. Right. All right. So we've got one with the acapella of Pump It Up. Yeah. So then I'll loop the word and say that's playing at 128 BPM, right?
Yeah.
So we loop the word up. So you got to pump it up, 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 up. And then we loop the up, keep making the loop shorter so it just sounds like, right. Yeah. And then on the mixer, I'll set the BPM on the mixer, on the effects unit to 176.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Switch it to trans effect, put it on that track. So the trans effect will start cutting the at 176 BPM, and then you can switch between like with the button on the effects,
right?
With the left and right arrows on the effects,
and
then simultaneously press and play on the intro of the drum and bass track.
Okay, genius. That's amazing.
So there's no actual like tempo change going on.
No, it's just what you would do with if you were using your wrist or your hand. The way I see you doing a lot of your videos, like ba 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 ba. It's just that, but you're having the mixer do and it's
exactly.
And you've created the pump it up until it's like that. Oh, crazy. Okay, I never thought about using the trans effect. A lot of times too, I'm on the I've been using the S11 or the S9 mixer, which I know you don't use, and they don't have it as easily accessible, the trans. I think you could probably map it out and do it, because that would be fun to have on. You just flip on and can do so many crazy effects like that. I know DJs are probably used to just like how you do it, scratching, but that was super creative.
Yeah.
So thanks for explaining.
Thank you, man.
It's dope. What do you have any like transitions that are your favorites that you've come up with, like that? Some of the ones you've posted or that you do live?
The ones I love the most are always the ones that I kind of create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So, well, not out of nothing, but something where you create something that's greater than the sums of the tracks that are put into it,
Yes.
And I've got a few transitions that my fan base, they've kind of named them, and then it's like we add these 2 tracks together, and instead of just getting this, we get like this, Like I've got there's one that I've started doing not that long ago with topic breaking.
Okay.
And Alice DJ, Better Off Alone.
Yeah.
And then this really heavy techno track called Sezzy Lock.
Okay.
And yeah, I've made a couple of videos of doing it, and it's just like it's melodic, like it's really nice to listen to.
Yeah.
And then the drop's hard. So yeah, that's a really fun one that I'm enjoying doing at the moment. But then I've just got kind of like classics, like One More Time Losing It, which is arguably probably the first DJ video that I ever did that went viral, you know?
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
every show I play, I'll do One More Time Losing It.
That's crazy. I thought you'd been making videos before that, but I guess not.
I have, but like that's the
one that really jumped off.
That one collectively has got like 20 million views or something, you know?
What platform did it jump off?
YouTube.
On YouTube?
It first went off on YouTube, and then like it actually went off without me realizing it had gone off as well.
Yeah.
And what was crazy, right? I uploaded like a montage of clips from this set at a festival I played at in Germany.
Yeah.
From 2017, and it was the first clip in the montage.
Yeah.
And the YouTube video was just called like James Hype at this festival in Germany, and that was it. And the first transition was One More Time versus Losing It.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think anything of it. I'd been doing this in my sets for ages. I didn't think the video was particularly good. I didn't think the crowd reaction wasn't crazy or anything. And I was like, it's an okay video.
You never know.
You never know. It's an okay video. And then I remember the video started doing loads of views, and I typed in James Hype on YouTube, and the first thing people were searching was One More Time versus Losing It.
Oh,
and
I
was like,
see what they're searching.
And I was like, I hadn't even called the video that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So after I discovered that, I like renamed the video and everything, and really like jumped on the fact that this was a thing.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a thing ever since, you know.
Right.
But it's so crazy because every time I post that video, it goes viral.
Every time.
Mental, honestly.
That's crazy. It just must hit something in people's brain. The musical part.
Like obviously it's two very iconic records.
Yes, people love those records.
Like I can't take credit for those records, but
but still, I think you do take them to create a whole new thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. And so how does it work with like the copyright issues then? Like, do they
sometimes works and sometimes doesn't?
Does it ever like so do they ever do a thing? I know YouTube does a thing sometimes where they'll see what's on your video and then they'll put, I don't know, like demonetize it, or they put the credit for that person, so then Fisher and Daft Punk will get credit every time that video plays.
Yeah, so
is that how it works?
YouTube's the ideal platform for this stuff because there are a few exceptions. There are some songs that are just straight up blocked. Don't even try it. But
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
But in general, YouTube's the perfect platform for this because if I do a mashup of 4 tracks live, YouTube will be like, oh, we heard that track, that track, that track, and that track. We're going to take the money from this video and divide it between those 4 people.
Crazy. So does it always really do that? Like, because I thought for a while you weren't allowed to put the stuff up, or if they heard it, they just take you down. But I guess
I think the record labels have become more understanding over time, and they've realized that it's important to be on there. And I know at the start of COVID, it was a lot harder to get songs on there. But then over the course of COVID, there were so many DJs making videos online and stuff. It was like, well, if you're going to block them from playing your record, they're just not going to play your record. So it's actually your loss, you know?
Right. That's the thing. That's what they don't realize is that even with all this metaverse stuff and everybody, like, we all want to share music with each other however we can. And if you're having us all go into a digital world where we all hang out in digital worlds, or we're all on platforms and social media, then we're going to share the music like that. So you have to figure out a way to let us, rather than just go, no, you just have to show us about how to cook a steak. You know, it's like, no, like I DJ, we make music, we want to put it on there. And so I think that's where YouTube and I feel like TikTok have been the ones that are embracing the sharing of music, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure TikTok really pays the creators, but
but I feel like TikTok's still a step ahead of Twitter and Instagram and all that, in the sense of being able to do some music stuff and share it, I guess, if you utilize their background system, or I don't really understand, but I even saw two people like battling on there the other day. I didn't really understand what was happening. It was like violin players.
Violin battle.
But I thought about like, can DJs do this?
You were pretty deep in the TikTok hole there, weren't you?
No, what they do is they just send you they show you like, because I always try to go on who I'm following, and then I realize I'm like, why am I seeing all this bullshit? And then I'm like, oh, I'm on the For You thing. And so all of a sudden these two women are like dun, 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 like playing violin against each other, and people are sending stickers and money, and they're going, I have this many points. And I was like, this is weird, but I wonder if DJs could do this, or music producers, like do a beat battle live, and then whoever likes who, and I don't know. So I think that we need to, that's good to hear that you can put your stuff on YouTube like that now, and it's not as bad. And I think that, we got to be able to embrace all that. And even Beatsource, not to like give a plug that we're here, but start to like how they're legally making it able for DJs to DJ, and the people get paid off of it, and they can stream the music. And, we have to push forward and embrace 100%. It. Otherwise, we'll just be stuck, like won't be able to do anything. So that's dope. Do you have like a platform with social media that's your strongest, like YouTube or TikTok or any of those, or you just kind of?
It's hard to say because they're not all equal. Like, I went into a meeting with a record label once, and they were like, yes, we've looked at your social media, and and Twitter's your strongest because you have the most followers. And I was like, you lot have no clue, do you? Because like I don't really use Twitter. Yeah, I've got loads of followers, but that's because I used to like do follow for follow back in the day and all that. And it's like, the platform's dead for me,
Yeah.
But obviously they were just looking at the numbers. So it's kind of like,
they have no idea. I mean, I remember in Vegas, like when the EDM sort of thing was coming there, and like we were just like the open format people holding it down, and they would book people based on their followers. I'd be like, that's not a real person. You just booked some weird guy with a mask on that has 1 million fake followers.
So many fake
and
followers
nobody came, and he didn't know what he was doing. Like, I'm telling you, like this Calvin Harris person is more reputable. They're gonna be bigger. Like go off your ears and your gut feeling, and like do research on multiple levels than just the followers.
So like my favorite social media platform personally to put content out on is YouTube.
Okay,
that's where I feel like I have the most connection, the most engagement. But it's not where I have the most followers, like I think I've got the most followers on Instagram, and I love Instagram. It's great. I consume it myself.
Right. Yeah, totally.
But it's a shorter attention span platform than YouTube.
Yeah.
So you don't really go as deep on there.
Right. Do you do Twitch or streaming at all?
I do Twitch when I do Twitch when I do Twitch.
Right. You've only done it a few times, right? Yeah, I've seen you post like, this is my one stream, or I'm doing these couple.
I've had periods where I've done it quite consistently, but then I've stopped. To be honest, I might do a Twitch stream tonight. Like when I'm on my own in a hotel room, I'll just go on. I'll be like, this is, because I'm just like, I'm by myself, bro. Like, give me some people to talk to. Innit?
I know. Well, that's the thing. You could do a Twitch stream if you just chilling, going through music and talking to people.
Exactly,
you don't even have to be DJing.
Exactly. So
or come here and do it.
Yeah.
We got the setup.
No, so I have I'm a Twitch partner.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not consistent on there,
Yeah, I feel you. Same. As things open back up, I haven't been as consistent. I want to bring it back next year and get back on it, because I think it could be good, and it's going to continue to grow. And with all of this other kind of metaverse stuff, like who knows, that's going to be the way to be DJing in those worlds, I guess. But I saw that you also did some other, like lockdown was crazy as a DJ and producer for all of us. I mean, we were stuck, and all our shows, basically got stopped. And I saw you put together this school, like a program where people could learn your mixes. And I actually signed up for the mailing list and then got an email like every day of my life. Forever. And I was like, I need to stop. I was like, no offense to the person sending it, but you're killing me. But they did a good job, because I would get it all the time. But I watched some of the things, and I saw that was pretty cool. Was that something that kind of came about because of lockdown?
Well, it was actually something that we were planning.
Oh, okay.
But I think we maybe pushed it forward because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I was supposed to be on tour in this place.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not. So let's film these videos. And
yeah,
man, that's been like, I didn't really think about the impact that would have while I was making it. I was just like, my manager was like, yeah, this is a great idea. I met the guys behind it and they were amazing. And I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Let's do it, see what happens. And ever since that's been out, I keep going to shows and I'm meeting people and they're like, oh my God, man, I've got your course. Like, I really want to learn how to do all this stuff. And it's like, wow, that's really had like quite a big impact in the world that I hadn't thought about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. And probably helps, you know, monetarily or whatever, like during the time.
I don't need to tell you that we lost all our lost all our touring income.
And like, and you filmed it so it can kind of live on forever now, right? And people can just buy it. And
we actually added some new modules to it.
Oh, cool.
Like maybe 3 months ago or something. So yeah, the original course was filmed probably almost 2 years ago now. Well, wow. It was filmed when the CDJ 3000 came out.
Okay.
Whenever that was. September.
Yeah. Okay.
So September 2020, I would say.
Right, like about a year and a half ago.
And we added some modules to it a few months ago just to make sure that it's super fresh. You know, like adding the new transitions that I've done that have gone viral, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's cool how it all is connected. It's like a big circle, you know, ecosystem or whatever the word is. Like where you're like, I can DJ live at a show, do a routine, film it, put it on something, goes viral. You know, have it in my school set. People want to pay for that. Then they want to pay for me to come to my show. And kind of shows how like being a DJ at this point is like a constellation of stars. Like you have to connect all the dots.
There's so many little things like that I started the ball rolling with during COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
like what?
I've got my brand Stereohype and we're running a label and we're doing.
And so what is that? I saw a video on YouTube, Stereohype.
So Stereohype started as an apparel brand.
Oh, okay.
Just because I was sick of buying really expensive T-shirts to look cool at shows, and I was like, why would I spend like $200 on this T-shirt to wear someone else's big name logo? Like we got like big Gucci on my T-shirt. I'm like, I'm James Hype, bro. Why am I wearing Gucci? So then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make something that I can wear.
Yeah.
And then I ended up selling it, and now that's become something that we do. Like we'll do a drop on the store 3 or 4 times a year, and that's something that started through COVID, just by me having the time to do it. You know? And also me looking for other revenue streams as well.
Yeah.
And then a record label as well through Stereohype.
Oh, so you have Stereohype Records, Stereohype Clothing.
Yeah.
And it's just basically can become a whole lifestyle brand, however big you want to make it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. That's interesting. Any other things? Was there any other things that came out of COVID, or just things you learned about maybe yourself or introspection things?
I was literally thinking this morning, like it's one of the best times of my life. It sounds crazy.
You mean being in lockdown?
Yeah,
and being able to have that time.
Do you know what? Just having the reset.
Yeah,
the reset is crazy for me, man. Like,
right.
It sounds a bit mad because obviously we've been through some really tough stuff.
Yeah.
As a race of a species of
a
species of people, you know.
Right.
But personally, having that time, like when it first hit, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna lose so much money, and I'm gonna be so bored, and are people gonna get seriously ill? Like,
right.
So all of those things were a massive worry. But then as I actually lived through it, I started to become grateful for the time to reflect. And when you take a big break away from the monotony of what you just, because we wake up every day and we do what we do because we do, and sometimes we don't question things.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you just kind of carry on going through the motions. And when you take a step back from that, you can reassess everything. And you're like, well, do I really want to do that? Is that really what's going to get me to there?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was able to make loads of music. I was able to connect with loads of fans online, and I feel like a different artist after it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful.
That's amazing. And so to get into the grind and all that stuff, like, just to kind of go back in time, how did you get your start? Like, I mean, I guess, where are you from, you know?
Okay, so I'm from a town just outside of Liverpool.
Okay.
And I asked my parents to buy me some turntables for my 15th birthday.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I got to just side note, tell my son is like the ultimate soccer football fan.
Yeah.
So I'll tell him you're from Liverpool.
Yeah,
He'll be excited.
Yeah.
He has all the gear and like,
Yeah.
you know, we like all of it. I mean, shout to someone from Manchester United sent us some stuff too. Then he's wearing that, but
it's completely impartial. Yeah.
yes, we're impartial, but we like the sport. You know, he plays every day of his life nonstop.
Yeah.
But
how old's your son?
He's 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants to be pro. We'll see how far he goes. I'm like, I could show you how to DJ.
Yeah.
You could be a DJ, football player, soccer player. But okay, interesting. So you're from a town outside of Liverpool, and you got turntables when you were 15.
Yeah.
And how did you even know to get, like, why did you want turntables?
Oh, bro, this is an unusual story because I didn't have any friends who DJ'd. I didn't know anyone who DJ'd. I think, from what I can remember, I saw people with decks at the back of music videos. You know,
yes,
and I thought that's how you made the music,
right?
And when
honestly. Same, like, because I would go to raves here in like the 90s, and I had no DJ friends. I didn't, and I would watch DJ Premier and Tribe Called Quest and people with DJs. I didn't totally know what was happening, and I would go to these raves and I would see the DJ, you know, crazy, like people going nuts, and the DJs, and I thought they were making the music. It wasn't until one of my friends finally got it, and I saw it, and I was like, wait, what?
All he's doing is press and play.
I'm like, you just have the record with the sound, and he's doing. But then we realized, they're blending. They're doing. He was putting an acapella, or he's scratching, or he's putting drum and bass with a hip hop. You know, he's doing halftime. So that was what opened my mind. But it's not. You know, I understand is what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I got the decks thinking I was gonna make music, and to be honest, very quickly I sort of was making music. Like, My mom had a big record collection, and she loved Michael Jackson and On Vogue and all these kind of 80s acts, let's say.
Right.
And I ended up buying any records I could find with an acapella on. And then I would be like, I'm gonna play. I remember my mom had like a Sugar Hill Gang LP.
Yeah.
And they had like the extended versions of the records, and I was playing like Biggie acapella over like Sugar Hill Gang beats and stuff, and that was what fascinated me about playing music. It was never just playing the music; it was always like, well, what can we actually make out of this stuff?
Right.
And then I think I only kept the vinyl for about a year. And I got some Stanton CD decks.
Nice.
That's how old I am.
Haven't seen those in a long time.
No, and they were awful, weren't they?
Well, you got to start on the bad stuff. I know that's the funny thing. I mean, to bring up my son one more time, I always hear people like, I didn't have access to this, and same, I'd use the shittiest stuff. And I'm like, dude, you have all the good stuff in your house. Like, if you want to use it. Like, but I guess if he does, then maybe people will talk shit about him later in life. Like, well, your dad had all the stuff. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to make you use the crappy, all the stuff in the garage. That's crazy. So you got the Stantons, and then did you have any, even though you didn't know anyone, did you have any DJ influences eventually once you started to understand it, like in your area or just in the world or people you saw on TV?
All my music influence came from LimeWire.
Oh, okay.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I would just like whatever I could find, and then you'd go down a rabbit hole and you'd be like, oh, what's this? And then we download an album called something, and like you know, like a compilation album, and it'll be like, remember I discovered like hardcore and all sorts, and you just find the album name, and then you'll be like, oh, that's number 3, so there must be a number 2 and a number 1, and then I download it all. And
I remember.
And then I think so I was listening to kind of all genres of music. Like I was listening to a lot of hip hop, I was listening to a lot of grime, which was, well, it still is a big UK genre of kind of rap music with almost like dance influence.
Yeah, it's almost like what trap is here in a way, right? But it's mixed with the, I guess, garage sound or something.
Exactly.
Like those drums, those like weird drums, and then, but yeah, I love grime stuff, but it has its own sound for sure.
Yeah. So that was the music that I loved, and then there was a radio station called One Extra. Yeah, which was like, it was the first station to come out that was playing completely urban music, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm gonna listen. I actually bought It's not the same thing here. It's probably like Sirius XM, right?
Yeah.
But I actually bought a digital DAB radio for specifically so I could hear this station.
Yeah.
And that's probably the same as like Sirius XM, I imagine.
Right.
And yeah, and on this station they were playing this kind of new urban genre at the time. It was like the cool genre, and it was called funky house, or UK funky they were calling it.
Right.
And UK funky was kind of like, it sounds almost a bit like certain like Afro house tracks today. But the DJs who were playing it, they were playing it alongside funky house records, like what American people would call funky house.
Yeah.
So kind of like Defected, Strictly Rhythm type records, and
almost disco-y, redone disco.
Kind of,
records.
Yeah. And Dennis Ferrer.
Yeah.
And I discovered, that's how I discovered house music.
Oh wow.
And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I discovered Beatport. So it sounds like a plug now, doesn't it? But but it's not. I discovered Beatport after I discovered Defected and Strictly Rhythm. I was like, because I just went down a rabbit hole of what is all this stuff? Because I'd never heard house music before. I'd heard it, but I'd never been interested.
Yeah.
And then I discovered Beatport from there, and from that point, I was a dance music fan. You know.
Yeah. That's great. That's huge. And then so you kind of, were you ever like an open format kind of DJ, or that just played everything?
Yeah.
So for a long time you were in that world, and then did you make a conscious decision to like be a house or whatever you consider yourself? You know?
So the whole story that I've told so far is probably, I was probably 15, 16 years old.
Okay, so it's just the beginning.
Yeah. When obviously we've got to the point where I now like house music. Okay?
Yeah.
So fortunately, the first city that I go and DJ in is Liverpool. Everyone loves house music in Liverpool.
Right.
Like Liverpool, they love kind of piano house with female vocals and stuff. They absolutely love it. There was an era where they didn't play anything else in Liverpool. You know.
That's so funny.
I started DJing in Liverpool around these times. I was playing all of this music. And then within a few years, I was kind of like, oh, well, what happens if we try and play some kind of different stuff? And so I started experimenting and throwing different tempos in and stuff, and really liked it. I ended up traveling around a bit more and playing in different cities, and I became an open format DJ I never like planned to be an open format DJ. I was just like chasing a crowd reaction, you know.
Yes.
Became an open format DJ. I ended up getting pretty good at it. That's kind of where I did my 10,000 hours, you know, as open format.
Yeah. Of course.
I was doing at one point I was doing 5 or 6 nights a week DJing.
In Liverpool, just around the UK.
Just around the north of England.
Right.
Yeah. And then I started producing music, and I was like, it was like my new love. Because I was like, DJing was the old love, and it was just the same over and over.
Yeah.
So the making music, that was my new love, and I put more time into that. I was testing out what I'd made in the clubs at night.
Right.
Which is an amazing position to be in.
The best.
Because you get that instant feedback of like, is it mixed okay? Does it actually work?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Does that breakdown just kill the energy, or does it work? Or
yeah. And the music I was making, it started to get recognition from people. Notably DJ City,
cool.
Because I was always in that UK top 10 chart with like a bootleg, a house remix of a current top 40 record, you know.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for ages, and with a really high output, like maybe one a week or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I had a few that went big, and I had like David Guetta started to play like a bootleg that I'd made and stuff.
Nice.
And I was like, if I really want to be this like house music guy, I'm gonna have to stop doing these open format gigs and just kind of. And that was hard for me, man, because I was like,
because you know how to do it so well. It's money every night, everywhere. I know,
and I'm sure so many people who are listening and watching can relate as well. Like, I just love music. Man.
I think this is a good topic too, because there's probably people listening that either have gone through that or are in the same mindset of like, I don't want to be an open format DJ forever. I want to switch to exactly what I love. And And it is scary, but also it can open the doors to just, it can blow the ceiling off in a way. Because there are ceilings for most open format DJs. I wouldn't say everyone. We've seen a lot of things happen over the past few years where it's evolving into different things. But I do notice that being a producer is your way to really
for
tour,
real, man.
You know?
But for me, it wasn't even taking the path that I loved. It was taking the path that I saw could lead somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? Because like I used to DJ at a dance hall night, you know? That was one of the gigs I did.
Right.
So I was doing everything, man.
Yeah.
So I just love it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, choosing that house music path, it wasn't even like, oh yeah, let me chase my passion. It was like, oh yeah, this probably makes sense.
Right.
I actually really don't want to leave all this behind, but like maybe this is the thing to do. Otherwise, I felt like I would probably be static for a very long time.
Yeah, that's true. You can get in that hamster wheel kind of thing. It's like what you said with COVID that snapped a lot of people out of it because you don't realize like how many things you're just saying yes to nonstop. It's just part of your life, and you're like, "This is what I do." You know.
But also, I was in a much smaller country than you. You know? So the glass ceiling is probably a lot lower.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure in the UK there's. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can go to Europe, but yeah, here, I mean, it's massive. Like you could. Just in LA alone, there's so many clubs, but in California alone, I mean, we've got from San Francisco to San Diego to LA, just 3 big cities, and then the whole West Coast. So that's true. There is bigger, and Vegas and everything for open format DJs. But I think it's been shown over time, and especially through Vegas, that the dance music stuff and the producers and the show has sort of won out. You know, those are the people that are getting booked for the bigger shows and numbers and stuff. And I think people like the experience of it too. Like open format DJing is really dope for other open format DJs and for people that are into music. You know, look, this is what I do, so I'm not like putting it down. I love it and I constantly do it, but I do know that I think sometimes the open format, I guess, shows lack the show element a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Open format is amazing for a dance floor.
Yes,
it really is. Like, when I get to see an amazing open format DJ, I love it, man. Like, I'm still passionate about that stuff, you know.
Yeah. And when it's mixed with a Vegas club or something that has a show, it's good. But if it's just kind of there, it doesn't always translate.
It's almost like because the DJ is playing. Well, it's kind of like, is it Eminem who said if you stand for nothing, then you fall for anything. So it's almost like because the DJ is playing anything,
it's true.
We don't know what we're gonna get, so we don't know what we can buy into.
Right.
Whereas it's like if you put yourself in the position of someone who's out there on the dance floor, then they might be like, yeah, I love dubstep. Yeah, I love EDM, or I love this one thing. So if I love EDM, I love Zed, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, Zed's my guy. We're going to go and see Zed every time he's in town.
True.
Whereas if you're like, yeah, I love EDM, then you probably wouldn't get passionate about an open format DJ because one time when you see him, he'll play EDM, but another time he might be more of an old school set.
Right.
So that's just
that's
maybe
true.
my thoughts on it.
I guess that's why a lot of open format DJs get frustrated with things because they're like, I'm doing everything, but it's like you can't please everybody. You know, you're gonna be like looking all over the place. That's a good point. And human beings can't think that much. Like DJs are thinking all over, but music fans are just kind of coming out to have a good time and just want to know. They don't need all of the different parts. So I guess, if you keep it simple, like this is what you're going to see, you know?
Yeah.
This is what team you're on.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get it. And then I think as people grow, their tastes change and stuff.
Yeah. But one thing that I've noticed that I can say from my own career, but also observing other people, if you make an impact doing one thing, you open yourself up to be able to do more things. So it's almost like if I was to become the biggest house DJ in the world, right?
Yeah.
Then I could stand there and be like, yo guys, I'm going to drop a bit of hip hop tonight. And people would be like, yo, he's playing hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. It's like once you get that respect of people, then you can almost, it's a phrase, like it's a quote. I think, play the game to change the game.
Oh, that's
you know
cool.
what I mean?
I like that. You know, you're totally right. Like on multiple levels, because like I remember going back to the Vegas thing and seeing a lot of, you know, Skrillex and different people come into the world, or even Avicii, and I remember seeing them come in and play this, you know, straight ahead set, and then slowly they're residents, so they're there all the time. They would start dropping a hip hop track or a few things, and it was people would freak out. I'm doing the same thing,
of course,
but it doesn't matter. It's because they are known for that, and so for them to do it out of the element is crazy. And the other thing I think that people get stuck in, like, well, if I say I'm a house DJ, that's all I can do forever. But in a way, no, you're playing the game to change the game. You're building yourself up, and you're getting your credibility and your status. Then you're like, I'm going to put out an acoustic album or whatever you want to do.
Calvin Harris. You know?
Yeah, like exactly. Calvin Harris is the ultimate example, because
but if Calvin Harris had never done that huge EDM album, then he wouldn't have the credibility to have done funk wav bounces.
Yeah, he would. That would have just been like, oh, that's a random cool thing he put out. It would be so musically amazing and Grammy, you know, type thing. And you're right. And funny, because his early stuff was almost like that. Like I remember playing Calvin Harris way before that, and I'm like, this guy's great. Yeah, all that stuff, just dope funk music, you know, and all over the place. And then when he transitioned into the, you know, the DJ, you know, the EDM or whatever you want to call it type stuff. And then he can go anywhere from there now, which is amazing. And same with Skrillex. You know, you see him. You're like, dubstep, Skrillex. That's all anybody knew. Now he's producing every kind of music on earth, you know, and working with every artist. And so really, you're right. You know, pick a path in a way, stick to it, go with it, and then you can make a turn. Stick to that path and do it. And like you said, it's good to follow your passion, but it's good to follow what you think is the right move at that moment. Yeah. Kind of a mix. Trust your gut, I guess, right? Yeah. That's cool. That's a cool way to look at it. And so from there, what are some of the things you learned, you know, grinding it out as an open format DJ, or just putting in all your 10,000 hours, like, that you've brought into your shows now, like any mic work or these tricks or things like that?
Everything, bro.
Everything. It's just like, all part of it, right?
The most important thing is, well, we probably call it reading the crowd, you know?
Yeah, reading the crowd.
That's the one thing that I know that I'm so much better at than so many other EDM house music DJs, you know, because I've been in those awful rooms and on a Tuesday night when you've got 50 people in front of you. And and you
seem very connected to the crowd, like in a real way, where I feel like some people just have certain movements where they're like, put your hands up, or like, say this, here we go. You know, it's just like standard movements, but like you seem comfortable, I guess is the word.
Oh, mate, that's like, if you put me in a room, the one place where I am the most comfortable is on stage or behind some decks.
Yeah, you seem comfortable. Like, you seem comfortable with the gear, with the mic, with the crowd, with the people looking at you. And that's a kind of a hard place to get. I think that does come from the experience too.
That's definitely experience, man.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's why people want what they see, but they don't realize that if they go somewhere that's too big for them, they won't be able to handle it. You know, you have to go through shitty nights and the low things and the long gigs and the things going wrong to be able to be comfortable in those environments and go do it. Where do you get your music nowadays? Like, are you part of different pools, or?
To be honest, I'm quite old school with it still. I'm Beatport.
Yeah, just find stuff you like, make edits.
Yeah, and I play audio files as well, so I'm a bit bougie, you know.
What do you mean? Like just
AIF
on a USB stick?
AIFs, all on USB.
And why? Because it just sounds the best, or is there a reason?
I'm just I'm an audio snob.
Okay,
like I'm a studio guy. I love the studio. I'm not in there very much at the moment, but yeah, like. To be honest, I think that comes from being a producer as well. When I'm like, I've made this thing, it sounds incredible. I don't want to play an MP3 of it. I want to play the full WAV. But the reason I would use AIF over a WAV is because you get the ID3 tags.
Oh,
in the file. Yeah, the
WAV.
I don't know the details of it, but the WAV doesn't seem to hold as much info in the ID3 tags.
Right.
You can't have the picture on there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. the AIF can do all the same as the MP3.
Okay. And then what about other elements of your show? Like, do you request to have certain elements at your shows, like CO2 or certain graphics, or like
something I'm working on,
yeah.
I'm trying to get a camera element in every show where we have an overhead camera that's been projected onto the screens behind and stuff. So
that's cool. So like on your rider, or to tell them, hey, if we're gonna do the show, let's get an overhead camera, project it, so you could click to that and they could see what I'm doing on those parts.
Exactly, because
otherwise they're just staring at you and you
making
look
some
like
horrible
crazy,
noises.
But they're like, what's he doing? Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
When we're in a small club, it's great because everyone can see when they're at the front. But if it's a bigger stage, no one can see a thing. It could all be fake,
It's true. That's funny because like even I'm in Vegas tomorrow and like I do these scratch things and sometimes I'm like, no, they're not reacting because I'm up on a thing and really I'm just making a weird sound. You if they don't know what I'm doing, and especially if they don't know what DJing is, just like we said, you know, then it just does sound and look crazy, I guess, to a certain. So it's nice to have that camera. Are there any other things you want to bring in to make it more of your own?
That's the main thing that
it's a good idea.
We actually talked about trying to find a way to get visual equipment to connect with the DJ equipment, so we could almost have like a 3D render of the decks.
Oh yeah.
But the movements of the faders and stuff are actually connected to something in the DJ mixer, so
I wonder
it knows whether the fader's up or down, and it would replicate that on a big 3D render. But
for sure, there's a way. Because with I bet you could do with MIDI.
Yeah, you might be able to. Yeah,
I know somebody that would for sure know how to figure that out.
Speak it into
I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, I'm gonna mention to him, and I'll see, maybe link you guys up because he's so good at that kind of stuff. Anytime I tell him something, a week later he's like, "Look at this. How did you even think of this?" And he's like, "Input this MIDI into your thing," and I'm like, "I don't even know what I'm doing, but it's working." And then all of a sudden, all my shit syncs up. So yeah, that's a good idea. That sounds cool. And so what on the music tip, what's some stuff that you have coming? I think I heard you have a track with Vintage Culture.
Yeah, I did a collab with Vintage Culture that dropped 5 weeks ago maybe.
Right.
And that's doing really well. That's number 3 on Beatport.
Yeah.
As we speak.
That one's dope. And there was another one, Tita Lau.
Yeah, I dropped that a week ago.
Yeah.
Tita's actually my girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Amazing. Family affair.
She was in LA up until last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gone home to do a show.
Crazy. That's great. I love that.
So yeah, that's the first track that we've put out together, which is really cool.
Yeah, really cool.
She's on the vocals on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm working on some stuff with a few really cool people, really cool DJs at the moment. I've got. We'll just say it. I'm working on a track with Steve Aoki at the moment.
Nice.
And I'm also working on a track with Dylan Francis at the moment.
Oh, great. Yeah. Love them.
So yeah, we're trying to like make that tech house sound like spread further,
Yeah. Well, they're both great. I mean, Dylan is like the most insane producer.
Yeah.
They're both just like great people too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love to hear that. That's so cool. What about, are there any people that you want to collab with that you haven't yet or that you're looking forward to?
I don't have an answer for that.
All good. I mean, like maybe artists or DJs or anything or.
So my dream feature on a record would be The Weeknd for sure.
That would be incredible.
Like, do you remember he did that track with Disclosure?
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Of course. Yeah, so good. I mean, and Daft Punk and like, I mean, he's definitely in that world, you know? That could happen. Yeah. I was wondering, like, we talked about your videos and like how you do these really complex things. Has there ever been a time when you made a mistake or like you tried to like, I mean, I know you've even talked about that. I feel like you're really cool because you're open to showing your mistakes and showing how you learn from it.
When I show my mistakes, it shows it's real,
Yeah, I know. Like, I guess What are some good ways to recover from a mistake? Do you have any like things that you
experience?
Exactly, confidence.
That's literally it. But then also like you got to act like you haven't made a mistake.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just like, be confident with it. Like, no, that was supposed to happen.
And I always end up working with the same videographers. Like, I've got a guy who's my videographer in Europe called Sabian.
Yeah.
And he can't tour with me in the US because he's not 21 yet.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah. But in Europe, that's not a problem because you only
matter.
need to be 18 to go to the clubs. So he's my videographer like all the time we're in Europe. And he's a DJ as well. So he knows when I've made a mistake. And I know. And we'll both be there on the stage like styling it out, you know. Like no mistake has been made here. That was completely intentional.
Right.
And sometimes if you're doing like, so you got to remember as well, sometimes you got like one thing in your head that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And then you might mess up. But to the listener, you may not have messed up.
Right.
So sometimes you can, if you were trying to do thing A and you might end up doing thing B. Just carry on doing thing B.
Yeah.
Because to the listener, I'm sure it's fine. Just don't panic and like cut everything off. So yeah, sometimes I'll like hit the wrong hot cue and I'll be like, oh yeah, we can turn that into something.
Yeah.
You know, like, if it's on like a vocal or something, we'll just pretend I was going to chop that bit instead.
Yeah, you have to just keep going with it.
Yeah. As long as it's not, obviously, if it sounds like if you got like beats clashing or something, then yeah.
No,
like,
don't keep going with that.
Don't keep going with it.
Get out. That's the other thing when people try to keep a mix going, you're like, just end it. You're already lost.
Spin back.
You know,
spin back. Your
spin back. Do something. Put the echo. Put the reverb. You know. What's your favorite? Do you have any like effects you love to use the most on there?
I'm really simple, to be honest, man. I use echo 90% of the time, reverb 10% of the time. Well, reverb 9% of the time, trans 1% of the time. For that one transition, that's the only time I've ever used trans.
That's true. That's cool. And what about like, you know, we like the mistake thing, but what about like rejection or things like that? Like, have you had any things that you've learned from coming out of like something that wasn't good, or like either a nightmare gig or rejected from a record deal, or I don't know?
It's always worse in your head than it is in reality.
Yeah.
Like I can handle rubbish gigs.
Yeah.
I can handle bad gigs because I just kind of think, well, it wasn't the right place for me. It wasn't it wasn't my people, you know?
That's the thing. If you're confident, then it's fine. Like, exactly. It wasn't the right place for you, like, I know you're good.
I'll say this. I played Printworks and I stopped the music. Like, by accident. Printworks in London is like number 5 top club in the world or something this year.
And you stopped the music.
I stopped the music. Imagine how that felt.
Oh my God. What? You just hit the button on accident?
I pressed stop on the wrong deck. If my head's not in the game, my set can go so wrong. Yeah. You know? Like if I'm doing three or 4 decks at once, like and sometimes I just won't get my head in the game. And I had a really tough gig on that Printworks show. I was like, I don't feel like the booth stacks were big enough. You're right behind the PA system in there. Yeah. You're behind all the speakers, and it's a big room, so it's echoey. Yeah. And there were these little wedges next to me for monitors, and I was like, I can't hear, man. Right. Like, and because of that, I was also getting no vibe. So there's loads of people in front of me. It looks incredible. In fact, the video of it's got 1.7 million views. Right. Like, it looks amazing. Yeah. No, not the video of my fail. The video of my success.
Got it. Yes. The video of you turning off the music.
Exactly. No, not that video. But when I was there, I just couldn't get into it. Yeah. And sometimes that happens. And I think another thing with that show, I was trying to do a lot of things that I hadn't rehearsed. Yeah. Which is ridiculous thing to try. Yeah. Especially when you're on a big stage and you're not feeling the vibe, and you've put and also I applied a lot of pressure to that myself as well, because I was like, it's Printworks, it's a really cool club, we're gonna get an amazing video. So yeah, a lot of that pressure came from within as well. And but yeah, like I can laugh about that. Right. And what happened? What did you do? Like, you turned it off and then just turned it right back on? Or you say anything? I loaded a track on the wrong deck. So I loaded my new track on the playing deck.
Oh my God.
So imagine how long that takes to recover from. It's not like, obviously if you're on Serato.
At least in Serato, you hit Apple
Command Z, then you're good. Yeah.
And you come back and you're like, people look at you weird, but
you get
done.
like, 2 seconds of silence, bro.
There's no undo on a CDJ.
There's no undo, bro.
There has to be.
Well, what you can do is you can
hold
lock
back.
it.
Oh, you can lock them.
So it won't. You can't load a playing deck.
True.
But I don't do that.
Right.
I don't have them locked.
Right.
So yeah, that happened, and I had to press play at the start of this new track that I'd loaded.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, and I was on stage.
What can you even say at that point?
I didn't say anything. I was on stage with my video guy. My video guy left the stage. Because like
he was embarrassed.
He was like, well, I can't film it, and it's really awkward. Like he obviously felt really embarrassed.
Oh my God.
That's
funny.
It probably took me like 10 minutes to kind of recover mentally.
I was with one of my friends one time in New York, like a long time ago, at this really like high profile club at the time, and it was like, I remember house music wasn't really that big. It was like we had like, Bob Sinclair and like a few of those tracks, and the owner was screaming, play house music, play more house music. Yeah. And he's yelling at me, and he looks at my friend, tried to say something. My friend was like, I don't know this guy. I was like, yo, what the hell? It was like the same kind of thing. He just slinks away. I'm like, thanks for having my back. Like, he was another DJ too. So I'm like, yo, he's trying to look good in front of the guy.
Yeah.
He was more embarrassed than I was, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that Printwork story, man, no one talks about it. Only me. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not like,
and that's the lesson, is that more people, you're harder on yourself than everybody else. And more people are going to remember the positive things than the fails. When you look in YouTube, I don't think people are searching James Hype turn music off Printwork. They're searching, Fisher losing it, exactly, one more time. And so that's why. And that's why people shouldn't be afraid to just do it. What's the word? You're not dead. You know what I mean? You're here. Things are going good. Like, I'm sure it was a bad feeling at the time. And you thought about it, and you're laying in bed like, can't believe that happened. Like, I still replay those things in my head. But I'm also sure you will be back there and have some insane show after and be able to tell that story. That's life. But that's crazy. Oh my God. That's a big deal. And to have to recover during your set. I mean, it's just hard. Do you have any other tricks that you have to like get in the game, like if you're out of it? Because I've had to learn that over time too, is just if something throws me off mentally, it used to be really bad, and I have to try to like center myself or something.
I find I can go extra hard, like just like exaggerate all my movements and shit. And I'm like, It's like
you trick your body.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people say like, oh, if you smile for long enough, you'll end up feeling happy.
You're right. You're right.
It's like, so I can literally like dance around like crazy and just and like just go extra hard on all the controls and just like smash the hotkeys and stuff, and I'll get back in there. I'll get back in my zone.
Have you ever like you said, smash the hotkeys? Have you ever like broken? I mean, watching some of your videos, I'm like, he's gonna break it off.
Honestly, personally, I've never broken a deck. Like all my stuff that I've got home is in great condition.
That shows the durability of Pioneer. They need to bring you in with like a sledgehammer. The James Hype test.
I've broken my mixer fader once.
Right. That's the same
one. Like that's $20 to replace.
Right, and they're very little thin. Yeah.
So I didn't actually break the mixer. It's just those parts are meant to be replaced, aren't they? So yeah, I haven't really broken much stuff.
Okay. I had some people on the internet hit me and ask, some questions, and I was saying, a few people asked if you'd ever broken any. Oh, DJ Polar wrote on Twitter, has he ever broken a CDJ?
I genuinely haven't.
Okay, good to know.
I have by putting like a parcel on top of one. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how much abuse a CDJ can take during a DJ set. I put a package on top, and like the screen in the middle gone.
Wow, that's crazy.
I bought deck savers after that.
Yeah, you need that, like those things on top. I know sometimes they get sticky too. Like my CDJs, I've had to like loosen the platter because when I was doing the side, it was moving the whole thing. And I'm like, yo, I'm in the middle of a mix, and it goes. And I'm like, no, please, you just messed up everything. So do you practice like 3-4 turntable routines at home?
I don't practice. I don't think any professional DJs practice.
I just mean, I guess prepare like those routines you do, or do you come up with those live, do them, and then just perfect them as you go?
yeah, that's normally how it goes. I'll normally come up with something in Record Box.
Okay.
And then I'll do version 1 of it at the club. And then
Okay,
version
got
1 will always be a bit like, ooh, I know how I can improve this, you know?
Right,
and then version 2 comes. And then by the time it gets to version 4, it's normally pretty good.
Got it. Okay. So instead of being okay, I'm not gonna try this till I'm at home and I practice it a million times, you can do in Record Box sort of virtually with the keyboard or in your head.
I visualize DJ transitions completely.
Okay.
And like between Record Box and my brain, I can kind of do the transition before I've actually done the transition, you know.
Right.
And then I'll do it in front of people, and it's never normally quite as good as it is in my head.
Right. It's kind of like how stand-up comics will go and tell a joke that's like just an idea, see how they react. Okay, next time add in and take some words out. And it's like and that happens to me too. I'll come up with an idea. I'm like, that worked. Okay, next time I should do this and this. And I listen back or I watch the video and it helps you understand.
Yeah, man.
And then when you finally perfect it, you could post the video on TikTok or Reels or all that stuff.
Exactly.
Get the reaction. All right, let me see what else people wrote in. JQ wrote, he wanted to know if you were aware that you are the CDJ GOAT.
Thank you.
He said, what is his prep like before a show or recording the videos? Like, are the things he does improvised or live? Oh, we just basically covered that.
We have covered some of that, yeah. We have covered some of that.
So that was basically what we just talked about, right? I don't know if you have anything to add.
It kind of depends where you're watching me. When I was doing loads of live streams, there was a lot of improvised stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because that was just like literally me playing around. But when it's in a club, there's not much that's improvised. Occasionally something will happen improvised, but in general, I've put things into a folder in Record Box so that to make sure certain records are grouped together and stuff.
Right. Okay, let's see. Jamie Selects said he wants to hear about your journey with DJing, how you developed your style, and he doesn't see any other DJs doing what you do on CDJs.
Thank you,
we kind of spoke about that too, but how did you become so active on the CDJs? You know, more than most in a way.
Just like sounds stupid, but through like boredom.
Yeah,
like
being bored at the gig.
Yeah, like
and feeling like you
I used to DJ for like 5 hours a night.
Yeah,
when I was doing resident DJing in the UK, and to the point like I got so used to DJing that I don't have to think about like beat matching or anything like that. Like my subconscious does that for me.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, it's kind of boring now, you know, like playing one track into another one is kind of boring.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what can I kind of do alongside that? And then I bought myself a third CDJ. All right, let me tell some more story. Actually, I used to be a Serato DJ.
Oh, okay.
And when I decided to be a house DJ, I was like, I gotta buy CDJs because you can't use Serato and be a house DJ. You know, that was my.
I know. I DJ'd a house party like 2 months ago and everybody was like early 20s, you know, and I'm like the only one with the computer.
Yeah.
I still played the set, but like it was, you know, I'm the old open format guy coming with the computer. They got the.
No, obviously, like
sticks.
you can play house music with Serato.
Yeah,
I was doing inverted commas around that.
Listening. Yeah, I know what you're saying, 100%.
But yeah, I was like, I need to fit in with these house guys, so I'm gonna have to. So I bought myself some CDJs and a mixer, but only two. I bought myself two CDJs and a mixer, and I was so frustrated with how long it took me to load records because I'm used to going shift left, shift right.
Yeah.
I was when I was doing open format, I would leave the fader up and drop a track. You know, like
That's true.
So I was so frustrated with how slow I was DJing on so I bought a third deck, and then I started DJing across 3. But it also gave me the ability to play acapellas and stuff.
Right.
And then eventually I got a 4th deck. And
what do you use the 3rd and 4th for primarily? Like having an acapella running, or
I'm using 3 all the time.
All the time.
Like, all the time. I don't even prioritize the middle 2.
Okay.
Like I prioritize 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
Like 1, I don't use so much.
And when you're saying all the time, I mean they're not always all running at the same time, are they? Like live with the open all the faders?
They're not open all the time, but I'm not just like through my set. There's not very many moments where I just play one record at a time.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So if I'm always playing this song with this a cappella, then I always need to mix the next song in as well. So that's always 3 decks being used. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you'll have the acapella running on one of them.
Yeah,
you'll have the thing going, but you can be
Exactly.
queuing up or getting ready or mixing together both the tracks, doing your mix while the acapella's going.
Exactly, yeah. And then there are certain moments in my set where I use 4.
Right, the fourth is, your brain. How do you even keep track?
I don't know, to be honest. It's just kind of like,
what's the fourth? What are you going to be doing on the fourth at that point?
There's only a few transitions where I use 4. One of the transitions where I use 4 is AJ Tracy Ecstasy, and it's kind of on deck 1. I'll always have the Robin S. Show Me Love, but just the organ like isolated. And I'll have that on deck 1, and then on deck 2 I will have a track playing that I've like looped up into a really fast sort of snare roll.
Okay.
On deck 3, I've got a vocal playing by itself. And on deck 4, I've got another track playing, which I'm going to drop into. So when there's 4 decks playing, it's kind of like there's individual elements across each one. Yeah. It's not like 4 whole songs playing, because that would be chaos, you know?
Right.
So yeah, we've got like an organ, a snare roll, a vocal, and a drop. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like they complement one another, you know?
Right. And it's just probably more fun for you just to be doing crazy shit.
I love the risk.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like, because it's
like skydiving.
Yeah, man, for real.
You're like, if I don't
I'm not going to die.
No, you're not going to die. You might. You turn the music off at print work. But no, exactly. But I mean, it's the pressure of like something crazy could happen any moment if I do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any favorite places that you've DJ'd in the world? I've seen you've DJ'd a lot of places. Either cities or clubs or
favorite places, man.
Or a standout gig or something.
I love playing in Germany. Whenever I play in Germany, I love it, man. Like,
why? The energy?
Yeah, the people, the energy, and it's probably the first place where I ever went, and I was like, love me, man. You know, like,
yeah.
I was just like, like there's proper like hardcore fans there up at the front and stuff, and I haven't been able to play there since 2019. You know,
wow.
Because there's just so much uncertainty that people aren't really booking. They don't want to put the money down and book artists, you know, because the government may cancel everything.
Right.
You know,
and they don't know.
So yeah, it's been pretty crazy. But I can't wait to get back to Germany. And I love the US, man. I love the US. Like, I didn't want to just go really cliche. It'd be like LA, but I love the US, man. So yeah, like I've played so many great shows here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you seem like you'll fit in, real good everywhere you play here.
Thank you.
And your management seem really smart and cool and have your best interests in mind and stuff. Amazing. Well, thanks for all the info. Is there any other things you want to promote or talk about, or even just any last words you got for all the DJs out there listening?
Someone said, how did you find your style? If you're like looking for your style, just keep going. Like, your style will find you, you know?
That's true.
Because if you start trying to find it, you probably just end up being like a clone of someone else. Like, you just keep going. Whatever you're doing, just keep going. Like, none of the stuff that I do has ever been, it sounds a bit crazy, but none of the stuff I do has ever been like deliberate.
Right.
It's always just been like, I've just carried on going and carried on being passionate, and everything's just kind of found itself, you know?
Right.
So just, work hard and give everything. And the more you give, in terms of the internet, the more you give, the more you'll get, you know?
Yeah.
Put everything out.
Totally. Are there any DJs you like listening to now, whether they're old school or new people we might not know about?
I listen to like techno sets. I like listening to techno sets.
Nice.
So I'll listen to Martinez Brothers, Marco Carola. Recently got into some weird stuff as well, like who was I listening to? Hosh.
Oh,
it's like some proper weird techno, man.
Like,
it's like nothing that I would ever be able to play in my set.
Right.
Like, way too minimal. But yeah, I'm all over the place with what I listen to, man. Like as I say, I used to be a massive hip hop listener, and that was it. So I still love hip hop, but then in terms of dance music, I have to listen to the DJs. I can't listen to dance music on Spotify,
right?
Because it winds me up. Spotify's like, oh yeah, you like house music? Try Fisher losing it. You know what I mean? Like Spotify just doesn't know.
It's so
it doesn't
hard
know
to
anything
find
about.
Stuff on there for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It gives you the obvious choice.
Yeah.
So if I press play on a house record on Spotify now, I could probably tell you within the next 10 songs, it's gonna play me Fisher losing it. It's gonna play me a song by MK. It's gonna they're all like super obvious, and that's cool for some people. Some people love that, but I love discovering. So I have to listen to DJ sets when I listen to dance music. You know,
that's true. Any future plans? Like, I know you've told us some stuff, but any other stuff we should look out for?
Just music, man.
Music,
yeah.
Just follow you. You got James Hype on going. every service. Check his videos.
Yeah, let's go.
And I mean, can't wait to see more. You know, more of the stuff you put out. I can't wait to see videos from your New Year's show. Time.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, he's out here. Anybody that's listening, he's out here on the West Coast, or he's out in the U.S. For the next couple of weeks and doing time in OC and going to New York and all that. So yeah, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. All right, we'll see you soon.
See you later.
All right, thank you to James Hype for coming on the show. That was incredible being able to talk to him and hear about all his mixing techniques and just learn so much more about him and his styles that try to learn and do things ourselves from. So thank you, James, for coming on the show. So excited for you to be out in the U.S. and playing in Vegas and all the places you're going to play next year and all the shows you're doing now. So thank you guys, Beatsourcers, for tuning in week after week. I am DJ Spider. Hit me on Instagram at DJ SPIDER. I will hit you back. The 20 podcast is produced by Beatsource. Join us for next week for more interviews as we discuss music that matters to DJs. I'm DJ Spider signing off. Peace.